We're joined now by my guy, Slick Rick. Has a lot of amending to make after yesterday's ridiculous comments. But, Marcellus, I'll start with you, my brother. Will these statements on the jerseys have a significant impact?
No. And I'm hoping I'm wrong. I hope that I have to eat crow on this, but I would say no. At least in my experience of growing up and coming from my adverse conditions and making it to where I am right now, I was too focused on my walk, my journey, too focused on my path to care if a basketball player had something that was inspirational or phrasing on his jersey to give me hope and fuel on that same path. So it wouldn't work for me. What if that guy is now on the bench and I can't see the jersey? What if the guy's out of the game? It's only a 3-hour game. I still have to feel inspired and empowered from within. I have to be not a victim of my circumstances or a product of my environment, but I must produce for my environment. So as much as the conversation is about talk and keeping the conversation going, I am much more interested in having the actions flowing. And I grew up hearing my grandma say that talk robs walk. And I was like, Grandma, what you mean? She's like, whenever you out there bumping your gums, you ain't about that life. And I used to always look at that. I used to watch people when they had interactions or they would have to do something that was calling for responsibility, how people would love to sit there and get as close as they can to actually working on it. But then the conversation was the thing that kept them distant from actually making true change. So in a world where it's good to be symbolic, but it's tougher to be of substance. In a world where you could just post anything and throw people off, I'm not really buying into this. And I'll leave you with this quote on my first lap by my man George F. Will of the Washington Post, who wrote this amazing article, "Much of today's intelligentsia cannot think." He says, quote, "Spinning problems that merit the gold of complex ideas and nuanced judgments into the straw of slogans." Y'all use your DVR, rewind that, figure out what that means, and that's how I feel about this.
Marcellus, first and foremost, I need a book exclusively of quotables from Grandma.
Grandma
because you be coming with that heat from Grandma every episode.
Yeah.
I do agree with you, Marcellus, in that these statements on the back of these jerseys aren't going to make a significant impact. Here is my First, let me applaud, because I don't want to ever tear down until I build up. First, let me applaud. I appreciate the NBA for doing something. To a degree, something is, in fact, better than nothing. However, good can be the enemy of great. And I don't like that the actions may speak. I prefer that the actions speak louder than words. Specifically, words on the back of a jersey. But here's what messed me up. How are you going to give players freedom of speech by allowing them to put something on the back of their jersey, but then limit the speech by only allowing them to say certain things on the back of the jersey?
That part.
Either you are with the players and you are with their move towards equality and announcing it publicly, or you are not. But the NBA, you can't have it both ways. My biggest fear, my biggest worry, my biggest concern is this. I don't want the NBA to simply say, okay, check. We let the players put social justice messages on the back of their jersey, and then that's it. Because that's not enough. That may be the beginning of the conversation. That may lead to some conversations. But conversation and dialogue has to also be followed up by some action. And that is my fear with these NBA statements.
Most important word in that question is significant. Is there going to be some impact from this? I'm sure that there will be. Is it going to be significant impact? I don't see how. I'm going to take a real life example. Flint, Michigan, and the water issues that they had up there. Now, some people, they've been resolved to a certain extent. They still exist to a certain extent. But the bottom line is there was plenty of video of people holding signs, people talking about the water is bad, demonstrating, showing bottles of it, etc. It wasn't until the federal government, until President Obama, provided money and they were forced to change the lines to take the water from Detroit rather than Flint. Bottom line was, it was action. And that's ultimately what it took to get something changed. What we're still seeing here is symbolism. And we talked about it on this very show. We talked about when this came out, we said, yeah, but they're not going to let them just put anything on their jerseys.
Right.
There's going to be some control here. And sure enough, Jaylen Brown and Mike Scott players are now complaining about the choices. And you even have guys who are not putting anything on the back of their jerseys. So they're not even collective in their approach to this particular statement. I also have a problem with like multiple messages. It sounds like a deli order. I got 3 freedoms and I got 2 equalities. And anybody got a Black Lives Matter here? Who's got the Black Lives Matter?
I'm good. I'll pass.
It's like we're picking favorite movies or something. We got a board up there. Like it steals the whole meaning and significance of this. And again, as we said a while back when this first came up, you get one big ask. You get the opportunity. You have the leverage to say, we're not coming back unless. And they picked, we're not coming back unless we put slogans on our jersey. And I just feel as if I felt it was a big whiff then. And as I look at coming into reality, I'm more convinced than ever that they could have done so much more.
People always say I'm a hater because I just don't join the flow, just don't go with the sheep and just go with the momentum. I always stop and think before I move. And a lot of times people just want you to go because, hey, we're all going. I never have and I never will. Let me just machine gun a little of my mentality in this subject and see where it lands. I want everyone to know that equal opportunity is a goal. And that's a goal that is actually realistic. But you know what's not realistic? Equal results, equal production. And I think sometimes that gets conflated because everyone wants equality, but they're basing it on the fact that people don't have the same end results. We got to make sure we know the difference and the space between equal opportunity and equal results. I also want people to know, even if you have equality, you won't get the same production from everyone because you know why? Winners create losers. Haves create have-nots. So I know no one wants to raise their hand to say, yeah, I'm the loser. Yeah, I'm the have-not. But if someone won, guess who you're not? The winner in that situation. There are no solutions in this world, y'all. Just trade-offs. And that's where we're at right now. Like we're not going to get a solution to all of our world's great, grand issues because they have on a slogan on their jersey. You're just going to get a trade-off of, okay, we're going to talk about it a little more, maybe not do anything else that is warranted or substantial on the other side. My last little machine gun is how there's no guarantees in life. And this is a message that I'm going to bring home in story when I was a Buffalo Bill. Our coach, Bruce DeHaven, rest in peace, who was like the greatest special team coach for at least 20 years in NFL, talked about how there's no guaranteed route to success, but there is a guaranteed route to failure. Think about how hard it is just to make it, to climb up the pyramid of life. Even if you do every single thing right, there's still not a guarantee you're going to win. But you can put yourself in alignment with a path that is going to guarantee you're going to fail. And since this is a sports show, let me say it in sports terms. We're sitting there in the special teams room, and Coach DeHaven was real. He said, I know none of y'all want to be here. Everybody want to be a starter on offense, a starter on defense. Nobody signs up to be on special teams, but damn it, you're here. And I want you guys to give me one thing and one thing only, 100% effort. And you know why? Because if you give me 100% effort, I can't guarantee you that you'll ever block a kick. But if you don't give me 100%, I guarantee you'll never block a kick. He not only changed how I approach special teams, he changed how I approach life. So if you guys can internalize that messaging from the late, great Bruce DeHaven, you understand where I come from on this slogan issue.
Let me throw you another analogy. See if this fits. You have a kid who's really good at math. Let's say writing computer code. You have 2 opportunities. I can either get you an internship for your kid at a Silicon Valley company, or I can give you a bumper sticker that says your kid's really good at writing code. Which one are you going to pick, and which is going to be more valuable to your kid?
Come on.
I know which one I would pick ultimately. Here's the other problem. We have still 65 players who haven't decided what they're going to put on the back of their jerseys. We already have 17 who have decided, screw it, I'm just putting my name on the back of my jersey. That is now going to become the conversation. And where did we start? This is supposed to be about fixing social injustice, not what guys are putting on their jerseys and why. And that is at the heart of why it's just such a bad left turn. It misses the mark on what it was supposed to accomplish.